Hello, children. What's going on? I'm okay. I'm not dying. Where am I? Find out today. Oh my god. Face cam, that's it. Hi. Whoa. I have to become tall really quickly. Hello, elderly. Wow. Okay. You guys can't see what Ursula's playing. It's just a big white screen. Oh my god, I look so tired. I look 30. I haven't been streaming in a while because, I don't know. Retooling. However, today we're doing the critique stream, and that's an obligation. So, people who paid good money to have me talk about their things. I'm just stalling until I see a Z in the chat. It's a lot of A's. Hello. Hello, Victoria. Hello, Doku. Hello, Wretched. Tallow. What I'm actually doing recently is I've been working on a Kickstarter campaign because I thought, man, I am so consistent with YouTube. I should stop that and I should become consistent with art again. Do that first, and then YouTube will follow because YouTube is usually just me doing art, right? And when I don't do anything with my life, what do I even have to talk about? I thought you were having a brain fart when you said A. I did. I don't know if it's a brain fart. It's my brain. Brain flatulence. Yeah, I'm just vibing. I've been having a great time in the city here. Azad. Yeah, you know what I mean. Been playing a lot of Cozy Grove. But yeah, I'm working on just doing the Avo and making Ursula just finish it in a month. Don't tell her. Oh my god, this guy looks like it's like a tripod thing, but it looks so like sinister.
It looks like the Guardians from Zelda.
I have no clue what she's saying. She's like talking as if I can hear her. She'll tell you about it later. I don't know where AZ is. Well, honestly, I started early, so I could chat, and I don't know. I miss you guys sometimes, but not enough to come back. I'm such a bad parent. I want to play multiverse. Multiverses? Just brain. The books of Babbo. Oh, look at Fado. He's so... Oh, he's gone. Can you see Serena? No, you can't because she's covered like a bird. That plaid thing behind me, that's my dog. When you cover her, she stops yelling. She's like, the sun has set. Time to sleep. That's her. Though she is kind of like that. If the lights go out, she's like, oh, it's bedtime. Except when it's actually bedtime. Then she sneaks around at night, eating what she can find. Okay, I'm gonna destroy this. This is too good of a stim toy. Isn't that a bird thing? Yeah, that's what I was saying. She's a bird. Bird dog. I need to... Okay, so Ursula got her teeth removed today. All of them. She's gonna say this is false, but no, all of her teeth are now fake. And because this was happening, in the morning, I woke up to a charge, or a receipt
Don't
uh,
tell them
on my EA account because she bought another frickin' Sims pack. It's the careers one, I think.
that. Don't tell them.
Yeah, she has a serious Sims addiction, and she shows up um like a monster um in my email with receipts. It's funny. I always get notified when she buys Sims packs, and she gets notified when I buy things on the Nintendo store. And we both do it when the other one isn't awake. Yeah, so she's allowed to have a Sims pack as a treat. Sims does that to people though, suddenly you have no money. Yeah, it's true. Sims is expensive. Sims is an expensive habit. Yeah, yeah. No, it is. It is ridiculously priced. And she plays Sims 4, which is even worse than Sims 3 as far as DLC goes. Do 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 do. Yeah, so she does that, and I do I just get random indie games on the Nintendo eStore, and I don't play them.
Far more ethical.
I played Cozy Grove got me. Ursula's playing it in the background. You can't really see, but that is what she is doing. Yeah, well, tomorrow I have a medical thing, so I have to get my hormone blocker, which is a giant needle. Okay, it's a tiny needle, but it's very wide for a needle, that is. Ugh, I'm not excited. I'm never excited about this. Why would I be? I mean, I'm excited about not having hormones because who needs hormones, am I right? Just get rid of all of them. I'm sure I'll be fine. I don't know where AZ is. I'll give them 10 minutes. Okay, we'll start at 6:30, like promised. Because AZ did ask to go first. Also, I can only talk about AZ because I don't know your guys' lives, but I don't know art. Oh, do you like my shirt? It's Death, and he has 9 cats. Look how happy he is. I'd be happy too if I was the Grim Reaper. Man, can you imagine the power? There's an episode of The Simpsons where Homer becomes the Grim Reaper. I remember that. And like I remember him going to like a stadium and he's like killing everybody on his way. Just to clear the seats. Yeah. That was fun. It was a good time. I had a cool idea for a story, but I'm not sure I have the budget for an 1898 typewriter. Why do you need a fancy typewriter? No one needs to type. Oral storytelling. That's the wave of the future. And the past. He said, she said. Let's go. All the way to the bottom. See, this is why I stopped streaming, because I just don't have anything to say to you guys. I can't wait to like write again, and then I'll be like so cool, and you guys will think I'm so cool. It's crazy. Like with therapy, I've written I write emails every week, basically, and I have written 96,000 words of therapy emails. It's like I wrote a whole novel's worth of therapy emails. Those are my memoirs. I set up a voice recorder and then do the storytelling to my sister. Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, I see. Man, I have a cool new typewriter keyboard. It goes click, click, click. Ursula should do more watercolor streams where we just vibe. No chats, okay? We all just vibe together. And we watch the watercolor dry. Let's watch paint dry. That's all the title of the stream. Watching paint dry. Ah! I'm so short. Ugh. I didn't ask to be short. I just was born that way. And then I continued to be that way. My therapist judged me for using seatbelts with my dogs. And I judged him right back. He was saying that I should bring a dog with me on my trip to the hospital, and then Ursula can sit in the car with it. I'm like, they'd be in the back anyways. I'm not taking a tiny dog up front with me. And if I'm in the back, I'll throw up. Cause an an airbag would explode Fado like a pinata. And I don't want that on my conscience, you know? I don't want. Well, Ursula would have it on her conscience, but I would too because I brought him. But Ursula would be like, "Oh man, that fender bender killed my dog." And then I maybe my therapist wants this so that I'm traumatized and I need to go to therapy more. He says, "Be reckless with your dog." And then he tenses his fingers like, "Ah yes. Infinite money glitch." uh You know that saying, give a monkey a typewriter and they'll eventually write out Hamlet? I'm that monkey. I thought it was like a room full of monkeys. You're one of the monkeys. Oh. My mom died. I'm write a diary to cope. To my girlfriend. This is... What? I can't read. I'm one of the many monkeys. Why don't we just give ourselves credit and say that we're all of the monkeys? Think about that one. I was thinking about how people get called apes. Like when you're dumb. But like you are an ape. Like that's what you are. Aren't we all just one of many monkeys? Or one of many primates. You know what expression you don't hear enough anymore? Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. Like, I don't hear that enough, and I think we need to bring it back. We're all just monkeys that discovered fire, okay? Like... I'm trying to get into the mindset of just write until it's finished, because I'm not going to be good, but at least it'll be finished. Yeah, that's the thing. You'll never be good. Your self-esteem is always one step behind your skill level. It's a relationship, a mathematical equation that you can never truly beat. Oh god. You can get more skilled at art, but you can never get better because it's all subjective. I have neither. Well, that's a good place to start. No self-esteem and no talent, you know? That feels like you're like equal levels talent and self-esteem. Though honestly, this all sounds like someone who doesn't have self-esteem underestimating their skill. So it's a classic response to be like, oh man, we talking about how people have no self-esteem? I'll have you know that I have the lowest self-esteem. Like, I'm sorry, but that is some pretty high self-esteem of y'all to insinuate that you have lower self-esteem than everyone else. That sounds like being good at something. So, So I'll just erase to the bottom. You know, it's like, do you want to burn in the magma pit of the earth, or do you want to die in space? Oh, hey, AZ. That's the difference between top and bottom, okay? If you want to burn, reach for the bottom. if you want to suffocate and freeze, reach for the top. I guess you'd suffocate in the center of the earth too, you know? Suffocation either way. All right, okay, AZ, I read your story. This stream is about critiques, okay? And you're the only person I have to critique. Right. So, you think after 30 minutes I would have prepared. However, I did not. You know what? You probably didn't think that of me. Who would ever think that I would whatever I was saying? Yeah. Oh my god, the heat would burn the oxygen from your lungs. Yeah. Well, I don't think any oxygen would get into your lungs. Dig your way down like a crab or an armadillo. Do armadillos dig? They underground? Troglodytes? They're not troglodytes. Okay, I'm so sorry, AZ. You have people coming over, and I am supposed to say what I think. So, how do you do this? How do you respond to things? You're fine. Okay, thank you. I am fine. I'm actually having a pretty good bop. Taking time off has been good for my brain. Oh my god. Not my stomach, though. I don't know what's going on with my stomach. It's been very upset the past 2 days. Oh, it's probably anxiety. Okay, I figured it out. About the needle. Okay. So, I read the latest chapter of your thing. Oh no, I wiggled something around or so it's gonna be mad.
What did you do?
Nothing, okay? I didn't do anything. So yes, I read the most recent one. The most recent thing that you sent. And my opinions are as follows. Well, I could tell it was rough. Like I'd say that it has like all the good things that it like usually has. However, it was very rough because there was a lot of parts that repeated, I think, and I got confused because I thought I was rereading the same line over and over again as I do, and possibly I was because I didn't actually listen out loud for once. I was reading with my little thingy and my eyes, and yeah, I think there's like specifically when he's talking with Louisa. Yeah, there was a lot of yeah, there's a lot of like things that didn't get like edited out or that got repeated. Oh yeah, the same thing happened at the street. But yeah, like I figure like that's just kind of rough edit. I had a really rough edit, but okay. Yeah. Uh I think overall it's got like a lot going for it. Like I like all the things that are being added here. And I like them as like logical extensions of like things that have been set up. You know, like I like that the bully plot is coming back. And like can joining up with the other plots, you know, like I like that it's all kind of coming together. Like I think that is good. I liked seeing him at a party because man, parties, am I right? It's very good. I think you can think of like a lot of ways to like work that with like illustrations and stuff, so it'd be a really good nice visual scene. um I like that like a new layer kind of gets added when meeting Louisa, where like it actually becomes like a bit of a consideration rather than like it kind of falling flat. Like I like that adds more tension or like at least more plot stuff. I think in general it was very fast. Like it felt like a lot of the scenes were like kind of like they didn't reach their natural endings. And yeah, I think it was like another situation where like sometimes things are added like later in the story where they haven't really had a time to like super mesh into things. Like I find that kind of with Louisa. And I know like there's going to be like a second volume. And I would say that Like, in my opinion, um, this whole Louisa plot feels very second volume, and it feels like it doesn't necessarily have to be, but it feels like a good kind of like I imagine it. I guess I'm imagining it the way that like you do like TV seasons, right? It feels like a good like season ender to move on to like the intrigue and stuff for next volume. Like I know it's not over yet, but it does feel like a good jumping off point for like the next plot line. Like I don't think it needs to be. Yeah, yeah, it definitely felt like a hook. So like you got that there. I think that it was like a bit too meaty. I don't know. Like I think I mentioned this before with like another character, but it felt too laid out and thorough. Like I'm not sure like what specifically about it. Like I understand that she's like a kind of character who just kind of like says says it how she wants it, like cuts to the chase. But like there's so much. Yeah, yeah, I think it's just too much progress for once. Like I feel like just leaving that intrigue and like even if they don't really get the chance to hang out tons, um like yeah, just like a little bit of intrigue would go a long way. Um yeah, so then there was like the fight that happens. Um and like again, like I think it was kind of fast coming on. Um Maybe I need to lay out a secondary action during the party too. Yeah, yeah, more secondary action. Like yeah, just yeah, like I'm not sure what you would do, but yeah, it definitely feels like there just needs to be something else that's the focus. Um right. Yeah, cuz I kind of like cuz when I think about it, like the Louisa plot like is important, but I feel like kind of like the crux of this scene is that um there is kind of a bit of a betrayal happening here um with Sarah and Gil, and I feel like that is sort of important because it feels kind of like offhanded and just a way to make the party like a big thing, but like like he trusted Sarah and this party is really awful for him. And yeah, that just feels like a beat that's kind of dismissed, I guess. I feel like I wrote out the main beats in one chapter, but it wasn't enough going on between them. Yeah. I had more planned with Sarah. I couldn't figure out while I was writing. Yeah, I would definitely I think that feels like it's important to the scene to at least kind of address even if it isn't like fully addressed between them. It just needs like more weight on it, I guess. Um hmm. Okay, and then there was like the scene where Des shows up, and I'm also not really sure how I feel about this scene entirely. Um hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Depending on which way I did it, I would change the rest of the volume. So I had to decide. Maybe rewrite it and see how it feels otherwise. I don't even think it's like whether or not they get together that's kind of like bothering me. I think it's just kind of the pacing of it. And I think there's like I think with the bullying and stuff, right? Like I like that there was some build up with you know, like I like that there was some like build up with uh Gil walking in on that situation. Like I think that that's cool, but I don't feel like there was like any build up with the actual bullying. Like I know that they like beat him up and stuff, which is a big escalation, but I think like the stakes didn't really get boosted much. Like I think like it's not that much of like a big escalation to like you know, like use slurs at him. I think like part of me, like I don't know, like this is just like a thought, is like it feels like maybe it's out of order. Like I feel like maybe it might be better to have like maybe like a parallel thing could work, because what if like I don't know the consequences I guess of this, but like what if in the parallel sort of fashion that um like Gil learns about like the affair type stuff. Like what if there was some concrete evidence about like gayness that could be used? I thought like one like possibility, yeah, because like I just don't know how it like affects the plot, but like one possibility might be to have like, yeah, because I guess my thought was probably that like the Des and Gil scene would have caused more trouble from like the outside, I guess, if that makes sense. I don't know. I thought kind of like a parallel thing would have happened. But yeah, it all what you do really shapes what happens next. But like, yeah, like I feel like there just needs to be like a raising of stakes outside of things. Like I think if things are gonna get better between Gil and Des, which I think you're allowed to do. Like, I think their relationship can go further, but I think if their relationship on their emotional front is making progress, I think there needs to be more pressure outside. And I like the pressure put on by the fact of like Gil considering like this marriage stuff, but there needs to be like more pressure, you know? Yeah, it's time to raise the stakes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, more pressure. It'd be like all I can think about is like Gilmore Girls when like whenever it's like, oh man, these two can finally get together and like they're finally emotionally ready, then like something always happens that like stops them from getting together, you know? It's just like, oh man, he's finally ready to be with her and she is now in another relationship. Or a misunderstanding always occurs, you know? Yeah. But I guess that's romance stuff. It's just, yeah. You can make progress, but you pull progress back in other places and make tension, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I think that's it. I don't know if you have more questions about that. Do, 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 do. All right. Thank you for letting me read your stuff and saying words about it. All right, Ursula, go. Sweaty.
Hello. How are we? Hello, hello, hello. Hi, hey. Hey, how are we? All right. Let's see. What's up? What's up, friends? Friends of mine. Volume up now? Oh no. Hi. Hi, Addie. Hi, Caro. Hi, AZ. Pigment. My goodness. How we doing? It's me. So I had a filling done today. So I may be cranky because my teeth hurt right now. So I apologize if I'm a grump. This has happened to me before with the same filling, but it came out. So there was just a day where I was like, what?
Get sticky.
Oh, Bones told me to get sticky teeth. You're right. But yeah, I had a filling. It's like a back molar filling, and it fell out. So there's one day where there was just a hole in my tooth, and I was like, oh, I should find a dentist. And then it happened before. I previously, like years ago, I went to the dentist, and she was like, have you always had this like hole in your molar? And I was like, what hole? And she was like, was there a filling here? And I felt with my tongue. I was like, yeah, there was. So, I don't know. It just doesn't want to stay. Take care of your teeth, folks. Okay. So, who would like to go next? We have Pigment, Caro, and Battlebox Cat. And I see Pigment and Caro, so which one of you would like to go first? He said you got all your teeth removed? You shouldn't believe everything you hear on the internet, you know? Your teeth have attachment issues, literally. They gotta commit to me. Caro, you wanna go? Alright. Let's do this. Now, what did you say about your characters? Okay. 3 character designs for grilling. I will grill them. It's midnight here. Oh my god. I have braces, so I get the pain. I'm sorry, Addie. Okay, so first is Dawn Winters. She's an antagonist, not evil, just works for an opposing agency. Okay, so you want me to just crit the designs and test what the personalities are. Okay, so for Dawn here, I would say Dawn seems... So Dawn is reading as like I know she's like big and strong, right? But she looks like a mom. She has mom energy. She looks like she's gonna pick you up in a bear hug and take care of you. Like she's got just like this, like a very sweet quality to her. And you said she's an antagonist. I know antagonist doesn't necessarily mean villain, so she doesn't look villainous, but I understand she may be getting in the way of characters' goals. Anyhow, also I love her corgi dog. 10 out of 10. So that's how I perceive her. She maybe has like some Shimbo energy. All right, so the chat in the video is weird. I'm sorry, Doku. I wanted her to be the opposite of Rain. Is Rain the one who's like very serious? Okay, yeah. I can see that, yeah. She definitely has very different energy where she seems like very warm and open. Where Rain is more like closed off. Yeah, the Angie punk. Yes, or this Dawn seems a lot more sporty and sweet and friendly and outgoing. So yeah, I think you did a good job with like making her the opposite. Yeah, she looks really tall. She looks very tall and like a very imposing frame, even though she looks like a very friendly character. The chat in the video is stuck. Oh shoot, you're right. Sorry. I misunderstood. There, maybe it'll work now. Weird. Is it... No, I was gonna say, is it because Bones moved stuff, but he moved it forever ago, so I don't know. There we go. Hopefully it's not stuck anymore. All right. So, okay, so for design-wise, shape-wise, she's very square, which I think works. For giving her like a very muscular, like big frame. It makes her seem like very sturdy. There's something just like really soft you got into like her face and her eyes. I think it's just like her eyes have a bit of like they're kind of like they have like this gentle kind of like slant downwards. And yeah, and she just has this like really big smile. Like there's just something there. You did a very good job of like softening up her features where like she's made of very boxy shapes, but it's all been very kind of like rounded off and softened. It's a really interesting effect. It's working fine now. Okay, good, 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 good. Yeah. So, anyways, great job with the shapes and stuff. Color wise, I think. A lot of her colors on her design, it's less a problem in her other outfits. But for this main outfit you have with the black shirt and the green pants, there's not a lot of contrast going on. So like it turns into just like a silhouette. I would recommend like even just cutting across it with like a lighter colored belt and maybe some lighter boots might help. Just so that it's not like a dark gray and then a dark green and then like black accessories. Like it makes it really hard to perceive kind of what she's wearing. And even if you just have some like, like the belt and boots, if they're lighter colored, or you go the opposite and you lighten up the shirt and the pants and then leave the boots and belt dark, I think that will really help you with getting contrast. You can tell kind of like the different parts of the character apart. Yeah, it can be hard with I guess this kind of like military look where a lot of it is very dark and neutral colors. Yeah. But yeah, definitely just work up that contrast, heighten that contrast, I guess. But yeah, but it looks a lot better contrast wise with her other outfits, like her casual outfit where there's more contrast going on. I might boost the contrast a little bit between her pants and her shoes here, but you're good otherwise. I can light. I can't read. I can lighten the boots and belt. Yeah, I think that would work. I like the contrast between like the belt buckle and the little design on her her oh my god, I'm so sorry. Oh. Her whatever she has here, her cell phone holder? A pouch? I'm not sure. um oh dear. Why are we
Your mom is working.
Yeah, Matica.
You don't
But hey, sweet.
stop critiquing the road. Hey.
Come here. Matica. Matica.
What?
You.
No one knows
No.
why we're watching.
Sorry. There's dog shenanigans. Badge thing? Gotcha. What am I thinking here? Oh, right. Yeah. Not lighten. Do some contrast work with the pants and with the colors on her main outfit. Same with her pistol. I think you could do some work to heighten the contrast, like with that, just so that it's easy to perceive, because you've got all these nice little details on it for when you're working in your comic or future illustrations. I'd just say, like, make sure there's good contrast between all the different parts. And it can be weird because you're like, well, it's all like black metal, but you can create contrast with like adding highlights and shines and dark shadows, or like pushing things to more gray or blue. There's lots of ways you can kind of fudge around with it to get the contrast up. Just dropping in to say hello and hope you have a nice day. Thank you. Thanks for dropping by. I hope you have a good day too. I haven't designed it yet, so it's just a weird symbol. Fair. Would white lines be okay for the gun? You could. That is one way to do it, to add contrast on like a dark colored object. That could work. I would recommend looking into heightening the contrast in other ways on top of it. Like, I know in your comic you might not be using like shadows and highlights. You can do like a flat colored look. But in that case, you need to make sure that your different colors have a good contrast to them if you're doing something detailed, just using your flats. Oh, Rose T, let's be kind in the chat, please. We're not here to say stuff is not good. We can give suggestions, but we're not gonna be rude to people about their art. Okay, so for her color scheme, it's black, white, and dark blue only. Okay. You could bring some of the, because you have this like nice kind of like royal blue for her hair. You could try working that into like some details on her belt and like her pants. Not her pants, her boots. That's the word I'm thinking. Because you have it with her like casual design where she has this like plaid shirt that brings in some of the blue. It would be good to see it kind of elsewhere on her main like outfit. Hello, welcome. Yeah. Caro, did you have any other questions about this design that I didn't cover? I'll be real, I was also thinking about blue camo. I think that would be really cute, but I know that might not work for every outfit. I'm late. What's the subject so far? So currently we're looking at some character designs, but we also have some comic pages as well that we're gonna look over. Awesome. Thanks, Caro. So on to the next design. Okay, so yeah, so it's the updated version of Polka? Okay, I tried to make his design more interesting, hopefully without making him look too creepy. He looks cute. I don't know. I don't get creeped out by his design. I can't draw the camo. Oh no. Right, Polka, because it's apocalypse. Okay, gotcha. I found you on YouTube 10 days ago. Oh, dang. Well, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Okay, so for his design, I have vague recollections on the old design because I remember you showed it to us a while ago. So, right. Yeah, so I'm definitely getting some squid and octopus vibes. I like how his head is like an octopus, kinda. It looks like is it the pancake octopus or something? I forget what they're called, but they're really cute and they have the little ears. I don't think that's it. I don't remember what they are. What it is. Anyways, his head looks like a cute little octopus. So I think that brings through, because I know he's supposed to be kind of like a goofy, sweet character, despite like looking kind of scary. Dumbo octopus, that's it. Flapjack octopus. That's what it is. Those were the ones I was thinking of. I knew it was pancake related. But yeah, super cute. Love the face. And the little ear things at the top. So cute. It's storming. Oh, I'm sorry, Addie. Stay safe. I might leave since it is. Hey, no worries. If the storm's messing with your Wi-Fi or not feeling good because of the weather, totally understand. Right. So you've got some good contrast going on because I like how you have these like kind of dark red, brownish colors like contrasted with this like really bright orange. Really good contrast there. I think the gray parts on the design could be lightened up a little bit. Like it's not terrible contrast wise. Like you can still tell it apart from the colors around it, especially the orange because the orange is so bright. But I think it needs to be like lightened a little bit, or maybe made a bit more vibrant, like bring a bit more color into it. Like I know it's gray, but like saturate it a little bit while still keeping it gray, if that makes sense. I think that might help a little bit. I think I'd also recommend maybe adding in like you have lots of nice little details everywhere. Like I like how the different kind of patches of the like the tentacle like suction cups are like kind of all over. And it brings in these like pops of color. It creates like visual interest on his design. I think you're missing it kind of around his like his thighs and his stomach and like his back. Feels very like same color, just like the color of his skin. Like I'd like to see whether it's you're bringing in more of these like kind of gray jagged pieces, or I don't know, some clothing or some more of these kind of like suction cup patches, something like that, just to bring like a bit of visual interest kind of like in this area and then like on his back. I don't think you necessarily need anything on the tail because I think the tail has really great contrast between like the top being like the dark color and the bottom being the bright orange. So yeah, but I think it just needs like a little bit of something here, a little zhuzh to spice it up a bit because you've got really cool like details all down his limbs and around his face and on his chest and stuff. Yeah, and I really like the echoes of shapes. I like how you have these like kind of triangle pieces like coming around his ankles and then matching like the bit around his waist, and it kind of fits in with like what's going on with his legs. I like how they're asymmetrical. It's very cool looking. And I'd like to see kind of more of this like asymmetry stuff where you've got like a little suction cup bit eye thing like here. Like I'd like to see that more because I see it on like his hands and his wrists and then like the one leg, but I want more of it. I want more of the good stuff, you know? I can't give him clothes, but I can try adding stuff to the back. Maybe like stitches and orange stuff leaking out. Yeah, that would be really cool. Yeah, you could add lines like or because you know how like he has like the little like ear things where it's just like basically like a flap of skin or tissue, I guess. You could maybe try adding stuff like that where you could have like little raised bits of skin. I'm not sure. Yeah, you could do stitches, you could do lines and texture, you could add orange patches or gray bits. I think there's a lot you could do. There's a lot of potential with what you already have. I think you just need to work on kind of like bringing more details into it. sort of showing how he was made. Yeah, that would be really cool. I think that would be a good bit of like, kind of like world and character building. Oh, hey, Battlebox, welcome. I didn't see you there. I also love his feet. There's something so cute about the feet. Back baby. Heck yeah. Yeah. I think the other thing, I'm on the fence about how I feel about this, but I think there's some like dissonance going on between like his head and the rest of him. Like I love the vibes of like both pieces. Like I like the way his like body looks. It's really interesting and like cool. It feels very like imposing and demonic and like monstrous and stuff. It's really cool. And then you have this like cute little face that's like cute and kind of like rough looking. I can't think of the word, like, you know, monstrous as well, but a lot more cute. And I find that like around the face, it's all very like squat and round, and then through the rest of his body, it's very elongated. And I wonder if you maybe need to kind of like bring them together a little bit more, like maybe whether it's like elongating his head a little bit or making like the tentacles coming off his face longer so that they match kind of the vibe of like the tail and the hands, or if maybe you need to take the body and make like him more kind of squat and round. There's just something that needs to be like brought together there a little bit. Octoman with hoofs, why not? Hell yes. He can extend the tentabeard but likes to make them short. I still think there's some kind of, there's something there. There's some kind of dissonance happening. I think you might need to play around with like maybe changing the shapes up in the body, like making things a bit more round. Because you have like these very sharp, jagged edges, and maybe rounding them off would just bring it together more. But yeah, I'd noodle over that a little bit. Can work on it? Hell yes. But yeah, this is really coming together. I really like a lot of the work you're doing. I love his little face. Yeah, it's looking really good. Do you have any other questions on this or anything I missed? That's great. Okay. It's hard to make him look like a villain, but still turn into baby hero. Yeah, that is a difficult thing. Because you want him to look like threatening, but also baby. I mean, sometimes you can have characters who look really creepy, and then the way they act and behave makes them cute, so I don't know. Okay, so as for your last character design, he's 6 years old. He baby. Going to kindergarten. Heck yeah. New septum. How's your septum, Sammy? Is it still ouchy? Ouchie, ouchie. Okay, so So this is Asgard Grimdaughter? She's one of the main characters of Lindisfarne. I'm sorry if I'm butchering these words. She's the last Danesman or Viking in Britain. Okay. Wanted to make her design somewhat realistic. Her sword is self-made, so it's meant to look jacked up. But not sure if it works or comes across. Oh, okay. Gotcha. I'm not sure. You got one of my names right? Hell yes. See, I can do it once out of 100 times. Okay. So. I can definitely get like a handmade feel to her sword. It also feels like very ancient or like a relic kind of thing. I'm guessing the setting for this is whenever Vikings are around. I don't know. Anyways, sorry, getting off track. Okay, so personality wise, yeah, she seems very tough and mean. Very what's the like archetype I'm thinking of? Like she's not like evil, but she's very like tough and gruff and near the end of the Vikings in UK. Okay. Gotcha. 1000 AD. Okay. I really don't know much about Vikings. I'll be real with you. Late 700 to early 1000. Okay. Interesting. Anyways, so yeah, she seems very like tough and gruff, but not like evil. If that makes sense. Tsundare? Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Tsundare. Seems very like serious and doesn't like deal with jokes, like doesn't make jokes. And when people make jokes, they just go over her head. Like that's the feel I get. Or maybe they don't go over her head, but she doesn't find them funny. Yes, I love the I love her thinking about who to marry. I don't know if you guys can see that properly, but she's like Edwin. Brave, smart, good hygiene, blonde, but he is small and frail. And Tyrell, strong, tall, but he's a coward. Poor hygiene, dumb, but he's tall. Are you saying she's a herbo? Yeah, I feel like she's a herbo, but like without the nice part. Like, you know how like himbos and herbos are supposed to be like really sweet? I feel like she's not sweet. She's just dumb and big and strong. Viking dating rules are great. Oh dear. Herbo as in vegan. Yes. She is very nice to herself. No one else. Okay. Anyways, design-wise, I really like this section right in here with her torso and like costume and the colors and textures in here. Like I like how you have different textures for like her belt and then this like chain undershirt and the different textures for like the fur on her cloak, and then there's like a gradient going on in her cloak. Like you got good textures on like her arm brace. Like there's just a lot of nice little details going on, and it feels very cohesive. It creates like a lot of form and depth, and it just looks really nice, and I really like the detail that you put into it. You like the part that was too hard to draw. Hey, you did a really good job. Yeah, I think it just adds a lot of texture. And like I know in your work you tend to do a lot of like kind of like flat colors and stuff and cell shading, but I think going in and adding that extra effort of like doing the individual textures and stuff, like I think it really pays off. It works really well for you. Thanks, I worked hard on it. Oh, that's awesome. It paid off. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. I also like the details in her hair with all the like the braiding and stuff. Yeah, I think you did a good job with adding. Like honestly, for her whole design, I really like the textures you're using. In fact, like I'd like to see more texture in her pants and her boots, because you've got it in like her hair, in her clothing. Just like for her lower half, I want texture. I want it to match this lovely texture that you have going on in the rest of it. The other thing, there's some contrast issues going on between the pants and the boots. I think that can be fixed by just like lightening up one of them. I do love the idea of her falling in love with smart, small, frail boy. I think that's really cute. Oh, right, but yeah, contrast between the boots and the pants I think just needs to be upped. I also find that the bands on her boots and the runes that she's drawn on them, like they're very bright in comparison to like the other colors in her design, which are very like desaturated, kind of neutral colors. Like you've got like some reds in here and yellows and blues, but they're all very like brought down to this very like earthy color. And then you look at her boots and the straps and the runes, and they're just very neon and bright. I'd recommend kind of pulling those colors back to a little less saturated, just to make them kind of fit with the rest of her design. How do you submit for next time? If you would like your stuff looked at next time, you can sign up for our Patreon. There should be a link down below in the description. Sometimes Nightbot will pop a link into the chat. But yeah, so it's $8 for the critique tier, and you can submit comic pages, comic scripts, prose, character designs, setting designs, all kinds of stuff. We're pretty open with it. But yeah, if you just sign up for Patreon, it should all be there. And then next month, or actually, if you get some of it in today and tomorrow, you could have your stuff critiqued on Saturday. So yeah, that's the deal. I don't know. She's a teenager. I was thinking she found rare materials. I mean, you could make it work. You could bring in... Did you get better internet? You reply much faster. I fixed the latency on it. So there's less delays now between the chat and the me who's speaking. Right. Yeah, play around with the colors. Maybe adding texture might bring them together more too. Play around with it. See what you get with the colors. He's afraid of her at first. Bless. Awesome. So yeah, is there any other questions, Caro, or anything I didn't cover? In the meantime, Pigment and Battle Box, which one of you wants to go next? You can fight it out, because I know you're both here. Maybe how old she looks? She looks to me like either late teens or early 20s, like kind of between like 19 and 24, kind of like in between there. Would it be okay if I go last? Yeah, no problem. I'm not in. Is that a rush? Is that a character's name or something, or someone's name you know? Is that auto-corrected? I'll make her a little younger then. Cool, cool, cool. Dang, autocorrect. I know, right? Awesome. Well, thanks, Caro. Thanks for submitting. Awesome. Okay. So, Pigment, you're up next. I'm coming for ya. Okay, right. So you were looking for some general critiques for page layouts. You're wondering if Nyx's magic makes sense for how you've drawn it. Awesome. So yeah, let me know if you have any other questions to ask currently. Okay, so first off, really great work. I think you did a lot of really cool paneling. Like I found there were lots of pages and layouts where I was like, oh, that looks really cool, or like, oh, that's got like such a good vibe. I also find that within your work, you're very good at making like these very solid spaces. Like it feels, the world feels very like built out and lived in, and like you do a good job of making like memorable locations that come back. Like the for example, Nyx's apartment here, where like I remember the crosswalk where at the end where they're walking away and stuff. Yeah, really great work there. Yeah, but yeah, really great location work, really good job with like setting up like what's the word? Introduction scenes? Introduction panels? No. It's where you set up a scene. You show the location. What are those called? Chat, please help me. What are those? Establishing shots. There we go. But yeah, you did a really good job with your establishing shots, setting up, setting. I love this where like they're jumping off the balcony thing. I was like, dang, that's so cool. Look at this cool cat. Establishing shot, yeah, setting, all that good stuff. But yeah, really cool work. Apologies. Yeah. So I don't repeat myself. All really great setting stuff. And again, I really like a lot of your paneling. I think there's some like little places where I think you need to do like not changing the layouts, but like kind of shifting some elements around. A common thing I was seeing through a lot of the panels is where you'll have I'm trying to find a good example of it, but you'll have, here we go. You'll have sections where I just find like some elements are kind of cut off by the edges of panels. So for example, here you have the character like, you have the dialogue and the character like almost on the focal point. I find it's shifted down quite a lot. Like I'd like to see you move her up. So maybe like having her here, which I think would draw the eye to her a bit more. And then maybe moving the dialogue like up here a little bit just to balance it, because right now it's very heavy at the bottom and you're gonna have background elements like I can see here, but there's a lot of just kind of empty space happening when the main focus is on like the expression and the dialogue. So I think like there's just places where you need to kind of move things into not the center of the composition of the panel, but like move it onto the focal point, bring it away from the edges a little bit. Try to find another example of it. No, this is all good. Like, where was it? I know there was another one. Dang it. But anyways, you know what I mean. Sometimes you just need to move things up so that they're more in focus. I guess like here, like this panel, like I know you're showing that the woman is like running away from the scene, but like everything's just kind of pushed to the bottom. There's a lot of empty space going on here. So I would definitely recommend yeah, just moving things around a little bit, bringing it more into like the central part of the composition. But overall, I think you do a really good job with your paneling. The other thing to maybe look out for is there's a couple places where the like the flow of thing, not the flow, but like the I noticed there's points where your characters kind of get flipped around panel to panel. So like you're showing Nyx from like below from the front, and then you flip in the very next panel to showing Nyx from like above and on the other side. I'd recommend being like a little bit more gentle between transitions like that. It can be confusing as to where they're standing in a panel. It's called like not breaking the 180 rule. It's like wherever your camera kind of starts, you don't go past 180 degrees. So that you can always tell kind of like where they are in the setting, because when you flip things around, like it really works for the flow of your page here, but it creates confusion as to like where they are in the setting. Yeah, like it, because I understand why you did it, because you have this character facing this way and then Nyx is facing like this way to bring you down to the next panel, and then you're trying to like not have them all just like facing the same way the whole time. But yeah, but it could honestly be fixed by just flipping Nyx in this last panel, for example. I was worried about doing the same thing too much. Yeah, totally. I totally understand that fear. Because sometimes, like, I'll struggle with that in pages where sometimes it just feels like I have a line of like the same pose and position of the camera and stuff through the whole thing. But like, play around with it, flip things around, and try to keep the angle consistent within the 180, if that makes sense. But I think for the most part, you handle it really well. It can definitely be hard in scenes like this where it's two characters sitting and chatting, but you do a good job with like different like body poses and like the expressions and like the scenery around them really helps with keeping things interesting. Six panels of the same three-quarter view headshot. Never done that. Yeah, me neither. Never done that. But yeah, as for your other question about the magic transformation, I found it pretty easy to follow. Like I found, I love this page, by the way. I think it needs to be, like, Nyx needs to be moved up so that the, like, information panel isn't, like, covering, them quite as much. Because, like, I want to see, like, the details of the magic happening. And you've got them in, like, a really cool pose at a really cool angle. So I recommend on this page in particular, like, bringing them up so you can see them kind of in full. But yeah, but as for the magic itself, I found it really easy to follow, where clearly, like, this kind of spirally magic stuff happens. They transform, and then when they're de-transforming, it kind of, like, comes off in... It's like uncoiling, I guess. Like, it makes sense to me, where you see, like, their other form, like, appearing and the other one kind of, like, disappearing with the magic. I think you did a really cool job with it. Like, I found it very easy to understand, and visually it's really interesting. Like, I really like how it unravels around them. I was worried it was confusing. No, it was totally clear, because you only show it, like you do a really good job with visually saying, like, okay, there's some magic happening. And then later we see, like, aha. You know, you see the magic uncoiling. And it's really great. I think you used it in, like... You used it in really impactful ways. It didn't feel, like, overwhelming, but it was enough information to understand what was happening. So yeah, very good work. The other thing I would say... No, sorry, I'm mixing you up with with BattleBox's work. With some other feedback I had. But no, it's really good. Did you have any other questions? Anything I didn't answer? Or... Oh, I do have another piece of feedback. I think there's some places where things can be... There's some places where I think panels can be either, like, multiplied or reduced. So with multiplying them here, I really like the scene, for one. But I like where they're browsing through, like, the flower shop, and you do see, like, the ordering and then the like, buying of the flowers. I think just because you have only, like, 2 panels of the actual, like, flower shopping, for some reason having, like, the close-up of the cashier, the worker, who I don't think I'm assuming isn't, like, super important to the story, the same way, like, the other characters in the scene are. But the way we get a close-up, it felt like, I don't know, this panel feels, like, very important. It has a lot of weight to it, and I'm not sure that's what you were intending. So I might... It's Jasper? Wait a minute. He's just not mentioned otherwise. See, I think you can have him in the background. For some reason I didn't recognize it as him. I'm sorry. Because I think you can honestly show him like in the background of here. What I'm saying is like I think you can still have this panel. I think you just maybe need like one or two more panels showing kind of like a montage of um like looking at the flowers, or like make this panel smaller. It just holds a lot of weight right now, and I'm not sure if that's what you intend. Like I understand hanging a lantern on him and saying like, hey, here's a character that's going to show up later, but I think just showing the character honestly, uh and then when Jasper returns later, people will be like, oh, that's the character for the flower shop. Like yeah, I don't think you need to emphasize it quite as much. Maybe, I'm not sure. It needs like, it feels like it needs like more of something, like it needs more significance or less. I can't tell. Not sure. But the other place that I think something might need shuffled around is you have a splash page of her saying she needs to get ready for the date, and then it goes to like them parting ways. And like I understand like it feels like a significant moment because you've added so much like emphasis to it. But I don't know, the following page, like not much is happening story-wise. You see them parting ways, they say bye, but it's not doing much. I do, by the way, I do like this transition between the like the fade out and then the alarm clock scene beginning. But yeah, so I think you may need to combine these two, like maybe make these two panels smaller so you can still keep like that emphasis on this because it feels really important. But yeah, but I think this kind of ending of the scene is taking up a lot more room than maybe it needs to. So yeah, something to think about. But otherwise, really great work. I really liked this scene where they're walking away from the flower shop. I thought it was really fun. Yeah. So again, so these feel like very minor critiques because I think you have a very good structure for everything. Like really great paneling, great character stuff. The writing's really fun. Great scenery and posing and all that stuff. Just little nitpicks to kind of polish it up a bit, I guess. Do you have any other questions? I'm glad it's going as planned. Hell yeah. I think you did a good job. Nothing I can think of. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for submitting. This was a joy to read. All right, Bellbox. I'm coming after you. All right, so Battlebox, my friend, you submitted a lot. I'm only going to be looking at the thumbnails you submitted, just because we do have a limit on kind of how much you can submit per month, just because otherwise Bones and I could not keep up with it. So I'm just going to go over your thumbnails if that's okay. I glanced through your outline, but I don't believe we'll be going over the character design. Hope that's all right. I know, I'm so sorry. That's okay. That's okay. I know you didn't mean anything bad by it. Okay. So, the other note I should say, I appreciated that you censored things, but just for anyone who is watching, I'm sorry that you have to be the example for this, but we do not do 18 plus content reviewing. So you can submit stuff for, say, like, a rated R comic if you remove those pieces from it, because Bones and I will not look at it. But yeah, so just so you know, so no 18 plus content, no not safe for work content for what we review.
I'll do it for 50.
Bone says he'll do it for the $50 tier of our Patreon. So there you go. But yeah, for the public streams, just because, you know, YouTube monetization, we can't do that. I'm so embarrassed. I'm sorry, Battlebox. You were good about it. You cut all the stuff out, but you did warn us about what was coming up. Because we've had, oh my gosh, what's their name? Who has the comic with Raymond? Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank on one of our Patreon supporters' names. But anyways, we've had comics before where people will have, like, love scenes and, more violent, gory stuff in it, and they'll censor it, which is totally fine. So, as long as it's censored, we're good. I'm also gonna have to submit over a couple of months with how much I eventually want to get reviewed. I know. Well, you could do the big expensive tier, and we can look at a lot more. Oh, Caro. Anyways, I will move on and look at your comic. So, your comic is very cute and fun, I will say. I I was so delighted when he woke up as an elf. That was the best. But yeah, I think you do a good job of kind of like getting into the thick of things really quickly. It's got, I will say the pacing is very fast. It's got like breakneck speed pacing where it does kind of breeze through things really quickly, but it is an easy read for the same reason. Like it's quick to get through. A lot of the jokes are really funny. I found, oh my goodness, I am coming up blank on the names. Sorry. You'll have to remind me what the love interest's name is, because comic speedrun. Right, but anyways, but yeah, but the way the love interest is like introduced, was very fun. I was afraid it would be too fast. I have a habit of wanting to get to the good scene. Aaron, that's it. That's it. I wanted to say Ray, but that's the ex, whose name is Ray. Okay. Yes, so it is fast. And I think there's some scenes that we maybe need to like linger on a little bit more. Like, I feel like you have the building blocks of what's there. It just needs to be expanded a bit. For example, I found when Mio wakes up and he's told like, oh, you've been reincarnated, or you're in a new world and you're gonna help break a curse. Like, I think it's fine if you don't want to spend time lingering on like the fact that the character died, because like if it's a more lighthearted story, you don't want to like linger on like, oh my god, I died, and what does this mean, and I'm in a new world, and because also that can be like kind of boring in stories like this where the fun is like exploring this new world and not really lingering on like the finicky little details of how that all works. And obviously it'll probably be explained later as the story goes on more, but I think I kind of wanted a moment of like, what is this world, and like where am I, what is all this? Like, I find Mio just kind of like goes through it a little too easily, like doesn't stop to ask questions or like kind of explore things. Like, it feels like he's kind of just being pulled along and is like, okay, I guess we're doing this. What? Bones McKay. That's okay. I couldn't eat it anyways with my tooth. Sorry, we got like fried chicken yesterday, and we had a bunch of leftovers because we got like a big amount. And Bones was like, "I ate all the chicken." Like he was admitting a horrible secret. I definitely get into his feelings in a later chapter. He adapts quickly, internalizes a lot of things, and will have a freak out later. Okay. I think it's worth it as the reader to get, like, he doesn't have to sit there and like ask a bunch of questions. Like, I think that's fine if he does like adapt quickly and go with the flow really easily, but you might want to hang like a lantern on it as well. So like if he's just like, okay, I've been reincarnated, like I'm gonna go do this, okay, here's a dude who's coming to arrest me, like, all right, here we go. And you know, his little pendant friend isn't like, you adapt really quickly, like this doesn't really phase you, does it? And he's like, I don't know. I do what I gotta do. Like just kind of highlighting it a little bit might help with kind of showing that character, and then eventually I think it'll mean more when he does kind of finally like have that freak out later on in the story. And I think you also do need to balance, because like we as the reader, because we're going into a fantasy world that we don't have any understanding about it, I think it is helpful to, because you have the perfect opportunity for a Watson type character. So your character who doesn't know anything and is just asking questions that your reader can really relate to, because he's from our world and he's in this new world. It's a great opportunity to ask questions so we can find out like where we are, how does this world differ. I mean, you explain parts of it because you're like, there's this curse, and everything's like gray and dying, and you know, it's later mentioned that he's like an elf. So I think just like taking opportunities where you can to like have him ask questions, or have like his magical friend kind of explain things to him is very beneficial for like us as the readers. And I think you do need to balance it with like him also being someone who doesn't ask a lot of questions. Can we submit short animations on the critique stream? I don't know if I could give you good feedback on the animations. Like, I could give you feedback as kind of like a general artist on like color and shape and stuff, but I'm not very versed in like motion in animation, so I don't know if I'd be the best person for you to submit that to. So like, I'd say maybe if you would like to submit animations. I'm sure there's parts of it I can look at, but I haven't really considered it. So I'd have to see what it looks like. I mean, for like camera angles, it makes sense for the random unknown characters. Maybe. I mean, I'd be open to it. You can always show it to us and then we'll say yay or nay to doing the critique for it. I definitely plan to use the Watson trope. He has many questions. Good, good. Oh, the other thing I noticed reading through it was, I think it was the way it was framed. Is it in chapter 2? No, I think it's later. But the way it's framed, when when Aaron's dad is interrogating him in the prison, for the way it's framed, because you get this shot of like the dad and then you see like the full body shot of him in the next panel, I was like, okay, this is the love interest, because we're getting like the full-on kind of like gauzy shoujo manga look at him, and I'm like, okay, this is the guy. And then he just lets him go and disappears, and I was like, what? Okay, I guess he's coming back later. And then the way Aaron's introduced is very comedic, where he shows up and he's like, don't you know who I am? Where reading the outline, I was like, oh, he comes back and he's the love interest? He's not dad? I thought that was dad. Oh my god, I can't read. I'm sorry. My reading comprehension is not there. I thought that was Aaron's dad. He's important, but not till later. Okay. My bad. Anyways, I thought that was the love interest. I did not realize Aaron was a love interest, which I think is like an interesting like way. He's the head guard. I thought that. Okay, I can't read. I'm sorry. You're not the first person this has happened to. Anyways, the head guard I thought was the love interest. Aaron's dad is the king? Oh my god. Well, dang. What was I thinking? Right, but anyways, the way Aaron is introduced is like a fun kind of play on things, because instead of showing up and being all suave and cool, he's kind of a dork, which I like, and it's shown kind of comedically. But I think just the way the head guard was framed did make him feel like a kind of like romantic interest type thing. So if that is what you intended, then good. And if not, you maybe need to pull back on that scene and maybe give him like a little bit less of like the kind of like eye sweep in the way he's framed when he's introduced. It's kind of like how you introduced that like the shop owner, like the bartender character, who Mio sees and is like, oh my god, he's so cute. Like, because you do that, and just the way he's framed, it's very clear, like, yes, this is like a potential love interest type thing. I'll have to tone down his beefiness. Exactly. I know, he is a good beefcake, but we gotta tone down the framing of the beefcake. Yeah. Yes, and I did like how Aaron shows up again. I think it's really fun, and they seem very they're a good duo, where Mio is more of like the cut that cake down, exactly. Where Aaron is very sorry, so yeah, Mio is more of that like kind of more serious, and then Aaron is a bit more of a goof kind of vibe between them, which is very fun. Oh, he can be the reader's love interest, yes. What else was I thinking? Yeah, I think you did a good job with like establishing things. Like you have lots of areas where you show like the area they're in. What am I thinking? The setting. That's what it is. The setting. You do a good job with that. I think and I really like the way you do transitions. Like I love the transition from when he dies and then wakes up again, and between like his nightmares and stuff. Like it's very I'm glad he came across as a goofball. He did. Right, but yeah, you do a really good job with having really interesting transitions that are really fun. You're doing a good job with like showing the different settings and stuff. Like it's very easy to follow where things are and what's going on, and you do a really good job with having like little comedic like cutaways and stuff. Like it does a really good job with like setting the tone for things. I think there are places where you can I'm not sure. I was gonna say, I think there's more places where you can kind of spend like a little bit more time kind of like with the setting. Like even with him, like I do really enjoy this transition of him like waking up in the new world. Like I think maybe like lengthen it out a little bit, like spend, because you have all this vertical space, like spend like a little bit more time here and there with your like setting things up, if that makes sense. Like, even if you just like expanded the bottom here a little bit, you could show kind of more of like these flowers and like the cave and more of the setting. And for example here where like he's looking down at himself and he's naked. This panel in particular feels very like closed in. I might use like the full space. And then I like these small panels for the more like comedic stuff. So that's just something to keep in mind. You don't always need to like box in your panels and make them kind of small. Like make sure to give them breathing room where you can. I always think on a long time for how I can transition smoothly. You do a really good job with that. Girl. Ba, ba, ba. Yeah, I can never tell when to make full art. I'll keep it in mind. Yeah, it's hard, especially in yeah, because doing the vertical scrolling pages like the webtoons layout, it's very different. Because if you're working in like the creating a page to put in a book, you're a bit more limited with your space. So it gives you like more limitations can kind of give you kind of easier answers to where to put things. But I think what to keep in mind is that, well, okay, so the basic rule for paneling, and I'm pretty sure it works very similar to like even with a vertical scrolling page. The larger a panel is, and the more detail in it, the longer someone will spend looking at it. So for example, if you wanted someone to spend like kind of a slow time scrolling through, you could have lots of detail, you could create like transitions as they scrolled, you could take up a lot of space, like fill the whole like canvas like from side to side. And that will give someone like a lot of room to sit and look at the art. And if you have smaller panels, people read them really quickly. So that's why they work really well for like a comedic scene, or for say like a conversation between characters where you want the dialogue to be like really quick, like snap, snap, snap. Using small panels really works so that it's read really quickly. You can use that to make something seem like faster. You can use it to kind of skim over something quickly. So I think that's a good way to kind of gauge what kind of panel to use and how big to make it. If you want something that's like very important, give it more space and weight. So for example, when your character's waking up in a fantasy world, like that's a big moment. You want to give it lots of space. Whereas like if it's a little moment where they're just doing like a small little comedic aside to themselves, that's like a small panel probably. So if you're revealing information, so for example, like like him looking at the cave, for example, you're showing this is the new setting that's very like jarring for him, and like showing where he is and showing off this new world that can take up a lot of space, like you have it here. Yeah. So that's a good rule of thumb. It's a bit different with scrolling because you have to consider that like they're only going to be seeing like a section of it at a time. Whereas with it's like a traditional like comic page, they see like the whole thing all at once. But same kind of principles apply with panel sizing. vertical scrolling is actually really interesting because you can kind of control the pace at which they see information. So you can do interesting stuff with like reveals. You can create like time passing in a very different way than you do in like a traditional comic page. So, anyways, that's a whole other thing. But I could make a whole video about that. But yeah, do you have any other questions for me about your work? I think you did a really good job with this. It's really cute and really funny to read. And I'm excited to see more. Good job with the romantic chemistry between the characters. It's very fun. And I think you have a good setup for like a good romance where it starts off like not adversarial, but like it's rough at first and then they come together and are good a good couple. A couple of what? I don't know. Sorry. I'm sorry, I'll stop. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just popping in to say your YouTube channel is incredible. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you found it helpful. Thank you for watching. Thanks, Scout. No questions. I appreciate the critical thinking and look forward to the future of this comic. Heck yeah. Good luck with your comic and thank you so much for submitting. I know you said you were going through some rough stuff, so I'm really glad that you were able to pop in and submit some stuff, and I'm glad you're getting work done. So yeah, really good to see you. You remember to question Pigment? What is your question? What is it? The scene where Nyx meets Lydia? Yes. Oh. Sorry, my screen just went black. I don't know if it showed up for you guys. Do the flashbacks make sense? Let me check. Let me see. Hold on one moment. Un momento. Man, PCs are weird. I'm so used to working on Mac. I'm like, where is anything? Like it's all at the bottom bar. Where on a Mac it's all at the top. I don't know. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you guys can see it, but that image, that painting of Fado back there, Bones' mom made it and gave it to us. It's really cute. I'll have to show it sometime on stream. So we have just this lovely like painting of Fado framed behind us because he's the favorite apparently. He's grandma's favorite. Right, okay. Right. So the flashbacks when they meet Lydia. Do the flashbacks make sense or do they look like blurs? I think it works. I think when the comic page is completed, it needs like a more kind of contrast to it. It does in the sketch version like really blend in with the background. But I like the effect that it has where like I love how it's like cut off between panels to show kind of like this like blink moment of like flashback, which is really interesting. And I do like the blurred effect, this kind of like ghostly effect that you have going on. The comic will be in color and all the flashbacks in black and white. So that's a great way to show like the difference between like a flashback and like the current time. As long as you kind of create that kind of like style guide for yourself, and just stick to it throughout the comic, it should be totally fine. I think going black and white in the color comic really works. The same way some people might make, you know, like make the gutters of the comic like a different color or something. Just a change like that to really signify like this is the past or a memory or not currently happening, that kind of thing. But anyways, yeah, the kind of ghostliness to it, like the blurriness and how light it is in the background, I think it creates like a good vibe of this kind of like memory coming up for Nyx. And yeah, and I really like how it's cut off between the two panels. That creates a really cool effect, I think. But like I was saying, I think it needs a bit more contrast when you're, like when the page is finished, because right now it's very faint, and it needs to show up just a little bit more so I can tell kind of what we're seeing, if that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I will extend. Does it extend to all of you? Does anyone have any last questions about either people who submitted or people who want to submit? No problem, Pigment. But yeah, any last questions before we head off for the night? Now's your chance. To be or not to be. All good? Awesome. Goodbye, Caro. Thanks for staying up late to watch. Would there be a limit to comic submissions? Yeah, there is. So we do have limits on what you can submit, just so that like our streams don't go on forever and ever. So we do, if you sign up, you get access to some like private Discord channels that have all of the information for like what you can submit. The rough outline is like we have two categories, I guess. So one is like long form, which is what we're doing tonight, and we usually do them on separate streams. So long form, which is 40 pages of comics or 3,000 words of like writing if it's like a novel or something. And then the other one is the short form. So that's what we're going to be doing on Saturday, where people submit like usually character designs and setting designs or single pages or like rough concepts. You can submit 3 pieces or 3 designs. So you can get kind of more different work looked at. It's just 28 pages chapters, hoping to get the art and panels analyzed. Oh, heck yeah. So that would be perfect for next month's long form. If you want us to look at kind of the story and like how the pages look as a whole. And yeah, and I can look at the story. Bones can look at the story. Bones is probably better for writing stuff. He's better with that than me. But we can look at the art and the writing that way. 28 pages, totally doable. Still watching even though it's 1:16 a.m. You have to work at 4:30. Go to bed. Pendragon, go to bed. You silly sausage. My goodness. I don't need to get up till 6 a.m. And you're up at 1 a.m.? Kuro, go to bed. You demon. You demon children. Go get your sleep. Getting lots of sleep is very important for your brain, okay? It's good for your body, it's good for your brain. Go to bed. Get your sleep. Drink water. Get more than 6 hours of sleep every night if you can. Hey, this is your fault. You have a point. I'm sorry, Kuro. I'm sorry. I just saw it. I was like, we don't have very many submissions. I should do Kuro's critique today. How many thumbnails is too many? That's a limit of 40. 40 pages. As well. As for the vertical scrolling, I don't know how to limit that one because it can be, well, I mean, one of those sections you sent is probably about a page. So use your best judgment. If it's too much, we'll usually say, like, we'll cut off here, that kind of thing. But yeah, 40 thumbnail pages is kind of the idea. Can't be stopped. About insomnia. I never gave it a chance. Oh dear, oh dear. Awesome. Okay, well, I'm gonna let Pendragon and Kuro go to bed. So I think my eyeball fell out of my left nostril. Oh my goodness. I'll be testing the limit then. Oh dear. Oh no, what have we done? 300 panels, maybe? Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Test the limits. Awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We'll be back on Saturday for the short form stream. If you would like to have your work critiqued on Saturday, you have a chance to sign up for Patreon and submit before the end of tomorrow, and you'll get your stuff in on the next stream. And if you're already signed up, make sure to get your submissions in. Oh, other rule, because I don't think we clarified it before, but if you've submitted for the long form, you can't submit for the short form and vice versa. You get one. Okay. Bye, everybody.